Welcome back to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 4, Episode 12 of Eldritch Horror, Signs of Carcosa. We're on turn 15. Hastur, the great old one, has awoken. I've just pulled the Hastur figure from the Cthulhu Death May Die, which will be another game we're playing during a Yellow Sign month. So Hastur's awakened. I've also brought the cultists of Hastur figures out and just place them here on the game board for all the, because there's cultists now on every gate. So really Hastur's dominion over the world is in full effect. So we've officially gotten very close to winning. Unfortunately, the timing was just a little bit off. So I believe we're playing the right way still. I believe that because Hastur awoke, we weren't able to win the game in the turn. So we weren't able to close the final second mystery until after Hastur awoke, which triggered us into the third act. But now, because we've already closed the second mystery, we still are able to have perhaps a final encounter with Hastur, which would lead us to a unique victory. So to have this final encounter, if two mysteries have been solved, an investigator on a city space containing a gate may confront Hastur. The only city that is there would be Buenos Aires. So that means Priscilla might have to go down and encounter Hastur as an encounter. So I believe, though, she would have to combat all of that stack of monsters first. So, so as impossible as that might sound, now there's one hope here, is because although we lost Dexter Drake, a new investigator gets to come out, and this is the fourth investigator that comes with Cthulhu, Michael McGlenn. So it says, when the O'Bannon gang needs to send a message, they send the big man, Michael McGlenn. Not long ago, his friend, Fast Louis Farrell, was attacked by a bunch of inhuman things with ugly fish faces. McGlenn took it personally. The word is spread. McGlenn has loaded up his Thompson, and everyone else better get out of his way. His first stop is London, where he intends to find out what these creatures are called, and where he has to go to kill every last one of them. So Michael McGlenn is here on the case. Let's see if he can help out. He's strong, and he kind of comes fresh into the game, which is helpful. So he has a special ability, as if you're on a city space, you may gain one item or service. If you do, you have a wanted condition. So let's give him also, he also has the Tommy gun. So I think that has been discarded, but we can kind of pull it out for him. So let's go in here and check for that. The Tommy gun is his weapon. So he comes in with the Tommy gun, starts on London, so you can place him here. He also has a special benefit if he is... so let's also switch him to him. So let's start out with... Well, technically, Priscilla Barnes can go to use her ship token 1, and then a token 2, and she goes to Buenos Aires. So it seems insane, but she is going to take on that stack of monsters. So let's see how her luck, let's see what her luck is. And we also have, let's just have Michael McGlenn also can grab a ship token, and then he can move 1, 2 down. So he'll come down the next round, potentially to help. And we'll have our urchin head to Arkham, and then again forward onto, with the ship forward onto, with Michael McGlenn. So they can be together there. So Wendy Adams has also gained her boon condition, so she's back up to 4 5s and 6s. Help her to win. So let's go ahead and get into the encounter phase. So, up against all odds, the dilettante Priscilla Barnes will try to get through these monsters. So I believe you have to resolve the combat with monsters first, and then she can do her encounter with Hastur. So Hastur is in Buenos Aires. Okay, so he's in Buenos Aires. There's a gate open. He has a cultist here, and Priscilla Barnes will go in and try to fight as many of the monsters as she can. So let's see her luck. So let's say once per round, when you would lose health, she can prevent 2 health loss. So that will help her. She also has some other things that are helpful. If you defeat a monster during combat, recover 1 sanity and gain 1 clue. So she has the Lodge Researcher. She has also gained the Binding spell. When you are another investigator in combat, you may test if you pass, you reduce that damage to 1. Monster's damage to 1. So she can reduce all monsters' damage to 1. So that's going to help her. She also has has inherited the Arcane Assistant, which she can have roll additional die. She has +3 to combat. She has +1 to her mental attack. She has the Specialist. She can re-roll a dice. She also has another +3 for attack. She has the practiced once per round. She can re-roll an additional dice. She has a clairvoyant spell. She may choose once per phase. She may test if she passes ignoring monsters on the space. So she can ignore a monster on the space and then pass the card. So let's use all of these strategically. And then these they'll have to do later. The Lucky Rabbit's Foot, she may re-roll again once per round. And finally, she may re-roll a die when resolving a test. So this is going to be a huge battle for Priscilla Barnes. So let's be clever here. So she can choose to encounter something as if ignoring monsters on the space. So actually, she can jump right to encountering the Hastur account, right? So she can jump right to, so she can ignore monsters on the space, really. Well, let's give it to her then. So the Hastur card says, so maybe if they can make it 1 more round, she can still fight Hastur afterwards, but she will choose to ignore the monsters on the space. But she will, if an encounter has been solved, an investigator in a city space may confront Hastur. So she may confront Hastur, and she draws and resolves an Unspeakable One special encounter. So let's check in the special encounters for Unspeakable One. So here's a number of Unspeakable Ones. Unspeakable One. So let's shuffle these. Unspeakable One special encounter. And here it goes. The Unspeakable One. You stand at the border between Earth and Carcosa. Much of the city has already been lost, but you are determined to not let it go further. A golden light simmers in the distance as the tattered king sends forth dark armies from Carcosa. So he still has his dark armies, right? He's got tons of monsters. She can ignore them all through her clairvoyance. So she's basically kind of warging out here, and she's just checking out. She's just tuned into Hastur. Like the monsters kind of don't see her almost. It's like she's just tuned into the other world, right? A golden light shimmers in the distance as the tattered king sends forth his dark armies into Carcosa. You tremble, fighting the urge to despair. So she has to pass a mind test, which is reduced, but she does have the ability to gain one, so that would give her, unfortunately, only 2. So she can roll 2, and she resolves it. So she resolves, and it says, you and your companions stand strong against the onslaught, hoping for an opportunity to strike at the king in yellow. So she can do the strength -1, where she can also gain +3 during strength and +3 during strength. You may gain +3 strength. So she has 2 with her minus with her impairment, +3. This is not a combat, so this is not a combat encounter. She gets plus strength. But also she says combat you may test. Okay, so this is good enough. She also is able to re-roll a die, add an additional die for one test. So let's have her add an additional die for this test, and re-roll a die if she wants to. So she can re-roll 2 dice after this roll, and she can actually re-roll these, right? So she can actually re-roll 4 of the dice if she wishes to. She passes. If you pass, discard 1 ally asset to place 1 Eldritch token on the sheet. Okay. So she passes, and she can place 1 Eldritch token on the Hastur sheet. All right. So she's placed 1 Eldritch token here because she's passed this encounter. And if you fail, that's fine. So she passes the test, and the encounter phase moves on to Michael and Wendy. So they will both have to choose a mundane example since they're on the sea. So let's go with Wendy first. Wendy's card is you find a terrified stowaway aboard the ship. You attempt to comfort him and coax him into telling you the story. Presumably a story that Hastur has risen. She needs to pass a influence test, which she only has 1. Does she have any other modifiers here? She has an ally that she can gain in an additional. Dark Pact, King in Yellow, Tattered Cloak, and she can reroll. She has Perceptive, so maybe she should save that reroll for some of these for the the Mythos phase, because I'm sure the Mythos phase will be brutal. So she can roll. She can just re-roll if she wants to, and she has a token to re-roll. So let's go. Passes with a 6. If you pass, he tells you the horrifying beast in unbelievable worlds. She can gain a clue. Okay, so Wendy gains a clue. We discard. Michael McGlenn. One of the sailors is singing in an old sea shanty about a woman searching for her dead husband, presumably lost to the King in Yellow. The story seems familiar to you. So he's going to roll his lore. He passes. You recognize the story as the story of Isis. And the sailor teaches you the song, and you gained a blessed condition and recover 1 health and a sanity. So he's not lost any health and sanity, but he can, let's just note that he'll gain this blessed condition. And that is going to do it for the encounter phase. Let's see if we can survive the Mythos phase. So the Mythos phase comes. They drink only enough to leave you, the rest of their victims weak and disoriented. No matter how much you begged to help, the players never took any action. The plague of vampires. Each investigator impairs unless he spends 1 health or sanity. So they can impair everything. They're just going to impair all of their attributes. So let's just put impairing across the board. And I believe that the king in yellow, because there's a blight condition, she gains +2 to all of her things. So let's just say she's not affected for now. She has a -1. So she just gets a +1 to everything. So this turns into a -1. This turns into a +1. This turns off. This turns into a +1. So it actually turns out the total opposite. Like she actually has this activated now. So that's her. But Michael McGlenn gets minuses. Minus, 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 minus. And this is -3 now. It can't go lower than 1. This is -1. This is -2. And this can't go lower than 1. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so everyone has lost this. We advanced the token one. And I believe that this moves the doom track. Now, for every doom track, for each doom that would advance, each investigator loses that much sanity instead. So each of them has to lose a sanity. And I believe that she says you can recover. No. Somebody has a sanity prevention. Okay, so that's fine. We can just go forward. There's nothing special here, so just keep going. Okay, so yeah, everyone has gone. Everyone has to lose 1 sanity. So sanity, sanity, and a sanity. Move this out. So this sanity is reduced. Next up is the effects of the reckoning. Okay, this is going to be ugly, but let's get through it. Enchanting deal, dark pack. Well, let's start with the first one. The reckoning. Investigators as a group lose sanity equal to the number of gates on the gate board unless the leading investigator gains a blight condition. So they lose sanity equal to the number of gates on the game board, so they lose 1 sanity each. So everyone's down on their sanity. And I believe that once per round, she does not have to lose a sanity. Once per round. You may spend 1 fewer sanity to pay for an effect. She loses 1 fewer sanity, so she doesn't have to lose the sanity. McGlenn loses 1. Okay. All right. So let's go through the. So that's the fine. We've wrapped up the. We need 1 more Eldritch token to defeat Hastur. So we have to go through all of the reckonings. So let's go through them. So there's a. First, we'll start with. We'll start with the dilettante, Jenny Barnes. She has 2 dark pack conditions. she has 3 dark pact conditions. 1, 2, 3. She passes them. She needs to test this. Passes. Oh. She doesn't pass. So she flips this. That's not passed. Resolve the effects based on your test results. 0. The enchantment has protected you. Discard this card unless you gain a diseased condition. So she discards this Enchanted Gates card because she failed the test. She has to resolve the backside of this card. Flip this card already. Okay, that's fine. And then there is the wanted condition. She passes the blessed condition. Okay. The king in yellow condition, gain a blight condition. She has the blight condition. Deal. Dark pact. She passes. Blight condition. She needs to flip the card. Discard 1 ally. And then flip this card. So she has to discard 1 ally. And she'll discard her urban guide, I guess. The urban guide. Okay, she'll discard her urban guide. Actually, yeah, she'll discard her lodge physician instead. So she'll discard the lodge physician. Okay, the reckoning effects of their cards have been resolved. Now we have to go into the reckoning effects of the monsters. So let's start with the witch. Each investigator who has a cursed condition loses 1. So this is not cursed. Nobody is cursed here. No. Just deals, okay? So that's the conditions there. Okay, this one. Let's go to this stack. We have to move this monster 1 space closer to investigators. Can move here. Reckoning. Okay. So the stack is complete. And then this one, Reckoning of the Ravenous Gug. Move this monster 1 space toward the nearest city. So it's here, the Ravenous Gug. The Migo. Discard the nearest clue. And move the monster to that space. So I guess it's here. So the Migo goes up here. We discard a clue again. And then there's the Warlock. Roll 1 die on a 1 or 2. The nearest investigator gets a cursed condition. So we'll roll a die. Oh, 1. So Priscilla gets a cursed condition. So we will give her a cursed condition. So let's find that. Talent, cursed. She gains a cursed condition, and it is only 6s count as wins for her, so this is bad. Okay, but I think we've made it through, barely. I don't know how we did it. Everyone's sanity is pretty low. King in yellow is awoken. We can turn to turn 12, 14, 15, turn 16. Let's just wrap up turn 16. So we are on turn 16, and it is, I suppose, Priscilla Barnes will stay there. She has everything she can do here already. And her 2 compatriots will join her. So let's start with Priscilla. Once again, they can fight the monsters, I suppose. So let's have them fight through. So she can do, let's have her do some of these actions. So she can defeat a monster. If she defeats a monster during combat, she can gain 1 sanity and gain 1 clue. But if she ignores the monsters, I think she can just jump right to the encounter Hastur roll, and then we'll see what happens. If she fails to encounter him, we can move. So let's have her take the next. This is King in Yellow. Is that next? No, I put them somewhere else. I put them here. This is the unspeakable one. Yeah, so we have to use unspeakable ones. I don't know where the stack went. Oh, here they are. I had a King in Yellow at the top. So the unspeakable one. These are all unspeakable ones. So the action is, as an encounter with Hastur, Jenny Barnes can encounter the unspeakable ones. I'll shuffle those at the top. Pick one, unspeakable one. So Jenny Barnes, the dilettante, again, face to face with Hastur. A hurricane rages about the city, and voices like needles can be heard upon the wind. If you have a dark pack condition, resolve the fail effect. Okay, well, she has a dark pack condition. You encounter a group of cultists huddled together in the storm and attempts to infiltrate their ranks and learn of their plans. She fails because of her dark pact. The men immediately recognize you as an interloper and begin screaming in tongues unknown, faces red with anger. The last thing you see is a colossal reptilian foot falling down upon you from above. You are devoured. Wow. Jenny Barnes. Devoured, which means all of her stuff is gone too. So I believe when you're devoured, let me just double check, all of your stuff is gone. So let's just check in the special appendix rules what devoured does. So she's devoured by the King in Yellow. Devoured is 4. When an investigator is devoured, he resolves the following steps. Advance doom by 1. Discard possessions. So everything gets discarded. Do we discard the people though? Are the allies, maybe the allies just scatter. I guess the idea of discarding here is she is devoured, and any of her allies that were with her, either they're discarded too. So we had a number of great allies for her. She had the Vatican missionary, the specialist, the esteemed author, and the arcane assistant. And the thing is, she didn't even get to roll because of her dark pack condition. So this is a case where the great old ones definitely won. She had too many dark pack conditions. She was pushing it too far. So Jenny Barnes, the dilettante, your voyage has come to an end as well. So this is up to Michael McGlenn. Sorry, Tommy, that's another character. Michael McGlenn and Wendy Adams. So they will do their encounter phase, but they'll have to fight the monsters. So let's start with Wendy. She does have the book in yellow, the King in Yellow. So she did get some pluses to her skills. Let's see what she can do from fighting against the various creatures here. So she can start with this ravenous gug. She has 3 strength. I think she can also act like no one sees her. No, can she do that? She never got her memento, so she wasn't able to win that. She has her blight condition. She may roll 1 dice on a test. She can lose one fewer sanity, but only 6s count for her, I believe. Oh no, 4, 5, and 6 count for her now. So she has 4, 5, and 6s count for her now. So let's go ahead and roll for her. So she'll attack this ravenous gug. She has 3. 4s, 5s, and 6s count for her. She does 2. So let's just count the ravenous gug is down to 2. 2 health left on this ravenous gug. She also has to do her sanity test. So let's have that sanity test. Sorry, I missed that one. She can roll 2. And her 4s count, so that's helpful. And let's have her keep going. This monster is spawned. She has to roll -1. The 4 counts. She can roll her strength. The 2 4s count. This monster is killed. When a monster is killed, does she have that? No. She can roll 1 additional die when resolving tests when she's in a city space with the urban guide. So she can always keep adding 1 additional die. So let's keep going through the monsters. There's the star vampire. Again, she can do 3, 4. She does 1 damage to the star vampire, but she will take the 3 damage on that, and I believe that she is now down to 1 damage for that from these fighting. She can continue to fight. She can resolve the deep one. She can roll. She resolves the mind one. She can roll the combat one. She does 2 damage. This is destroyed also. So Wendy, the urchin, is really fighting for her life here. Next up is the crawling one. She can roll the following 4. She gets 2. She can re-roll once per. She can re-roll this one so she doesn't take damage or else she dies. And she gives 2 damage, but unfortunately she takes 1 damage against this, and her damage is down to 0, which means that she is. So basically, Michael McGlenn finds her. You recognize Wendy's meager belongings for sale at a pawn shop. Gain all her possessions. So he gets to have the king in yellow and all of her possessions. In the store owner claims the older man brought them in. You scour the city looking for any sign of her and this mysterious man. So we roll a test. Fails. If you fail, you never learn her fate. Whether you pass or not, discard her investigator token. So Wendy Adams the urchin, also gone. So in this round, we're down to our last player, Michael McGlenn, who will go and attack, I suppose. So he'll start out with now he's gained the king in yellow, so that means he can increase all of his skills from -1s to +1s. So all of his skills are now +1, and we can get him +1 to his will. And +1. Okay. Because he had minuses, so now the minuses counteract, now they're pluses. So let's go to, these are discard, these are discard. Unspeakable one is discarded. So before he can have the encounter, he's fighting the monsters first. So then he still can do an unspeakable one encounter. So I will remove this unspeakable one encounter. We're still in the mythos phase, by the way. We're still in the... Oh no, this is the old mythos phase. We're still in our encounter phase, sorry. And we're in the combat phase. So he will start out with the Ravenous Gug. And he can roll minus... he gets 4, minus 1. Oop. He gets +1 with the ally. So he gets, and 4's count for him as well. So now he has... he gets 2 damage on this. So he kills the Ravenous Gug. Next up is the Star Vampire. Roll his first check. Passes. Rolls his combat check. 5 plus his Tommy gun. +4. Tommy gun. I think he wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Just say that he gets the crawling one as well. Just kind of rolls, spraying them with bullets. He's got these 4 cultists, which actually will spawn, again, 4 Byakkes. But we don't have them, so I think he has to face them one by one. So each cultist spawns a Byakke, so let's just do it in order. So Byakke 1, he has to roll his mind roll. Let's discard these so not to confuse anything. This is all discarded. Okay, so he will roll his 4 +1 from his talent. Passes. He will roll his attack, so he gets 4 +3, 4 +1. And he does, let's say, just a 6 here. So let's just do it like this. 2, 3, and 2, 3, right? Because they have 1 and 1. So he gets 2 cultists and 2 Byakke. So next round is another cultist summons another Byakke. Right? So this cultist summons another Byakke. He has to check his sanity again. 4. Passes. Kills them both. Next cultist, next Byakke, tests his will. Passes. Tests his strength with his Tommy gun and his ally. Gets them both. Cultist and Byakke. Next cultist has to pass his will. Passes. Has to pass his strength. Gets the Byakke. Finally, the last cultist, he can pass his will. Fails to pass his will. Loses 1 sanity. Passes his last strength. -2. Does 2, 3 damage. So, Michael McGlenn, the gangster, with a Tommy gun, just firing into cultists, summoning Byakkes as fast as they can. He lost some sanity. He's at the very end. He's lost his 2 comrades. Wendy Adams dies. He saw our dilettante character, whose name escapes me already. He's seen her expire. She was totally devoured. Jenny Barnes. Sorry, Jenny Barnes. Jenny Barnes, a dilettante, devoured. And now he gets to have his encounter with Hastur. He will go for the unspeakable one. There's a sudden heaviness in the air. And you recognize with certainty that your darkest nightmare has come true. Hastur, the unspeakable one, has escaped his prison. And if you have a blight condition, resolve the fail effect. Oh my gosh. So no chance to roll, no way to Tommy gun your way out of this. Unwilling to risk the rest of their likely brief existence, your companions abandon you. They teach you what you know before they depart. If you survive this, you will be forever indebted to them. Gain 2 talent conditions and a dark pact condition. So he's going to gain a dark pact condition. So he gets a dark pact condition back. Wow. Okay, this is quite... But he does not pass the test. So that means he has to try to make it through another round by himself. So actually he has to make it through the... He just has to make it through the mythos round. So we finished the... we're finishing the encounter round only. We still haven't done the mythos round. So if we go back to mythos, I just want to give him his 2 talent conditions. So he gets talent condition 1 and 2, and he has silver-tongued and talent. When you resolve a spell effect, you gain +2 before resolving. So he gained these 2. So his experience has given him this magical powers. The unspeakable one is discarded. We failed to finish Hastur. Now we go to mythos phase. Mythos phase. You have seen too much of the world of nightmares. Things that used to be simple have become nearly impossible. Everyday chores are deadly risks. Your only hope is to adapt and learn a new way. Calamitous fortune. Each investigator rolls 1 die and has to do the following. So I roll 1 die. I get a 3. Impair 2 skills of your choice. So he can impair his influence and his observation. He will impair them both. Okay? So they are now down. Next, we advance. Doom advances twice. Okay, each time, effects cannot prevent the loss of sanity. Each time Doom would advance twice, investigators lose that much sanity. If all Michael McGlenn loses 2 insanity. So, if all investigators have been eliminated, investigators lose the game. So, Michael McGlenn, Michael McGlenn tells you that Louis came to see him in a dream and asked him to steal some jewelry from the museum. McGlenn says he's going to a new gang under the waves. There's no talking him out of it. But first he wants you to cut you in on a deal. He's totally insane. Talking about going under the waves. Going to steal some things for the new boss. He's going to go join a new gang under the waves. That's over here in Rillier. He's like, Michael McGlenn's going over to join the Rillier, right? So I believe the investigators have lost the game. So let's just finish up with the final Hastur Doomsday. So we have 1 of 4 to choose from. So the unspeakable one wins. Hastur has awakened and we are defeated. So just randomly pick one here. And we get the King in Yellow. All the finale of the world premiere of the King in Yellow. Oh, at the finale of the world premiere of the King in Yellow, the audience bursts into applause as a figure in yellow robes soared into the scene. But delight gave way to horror when the figure dropped his mask and began to grow, tearing apart the yellow robes. A shapeless whirlwind hung over the hall, shrouded in black threads. These threads, and there were thousands of them stretched to the strings, suddenly pierced the heads of the theater-goers frozen in horror, sucking all their minds out of them. The vortex increased many times in size, and the rest of the townspeople became its next victims. And then for several hours a terrible raging something filled the earth's atmosphere and brought down a downpour of black threads on the millions of panicked people. So King in Yellow has drained the minds of Michael McGlenn. He dropped his robes and became just threads of whatever he is, and madness has taken over the earth. That's going to wrap it up for Hastur Awakens. Our investigators lose. Great victory for the old ones. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll do a post game probably after this and kind of wrap up some final thoughts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next game. This has been a fun one, so I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.